In the barren sands of Saudi Arabia, a project of monumental ambition is slowly emerging. Called the Line, it's unlike anything ever attempted in urban planning. When it was first introduced in 2021, the proposal seemed straight out of a science fiction novel. A 170-kilometer long linear city that rises 500 meters into the sky and is only 200 meters wide. This futuristic megastructure promised a life with no cars, no roads, and no pollution. Just walkable neighborhoods powered entirely by renewable energy. The Line is the centerpiece of NEOM, Saudi Arabia's multi-trillion-dollar initiative aimed at redefining the country's economic future. Designed to house up to 10 million residents, this city was marketed as a sustainable and technologically advanced solution to the world's growing urban problems. At first glance, it was a utopia, but many also wondered whether such a bold vision could ever become reality. From render to reality, construction begins. Skepticism surrounded the Line when it was first unveiled, with critics dismissing it as a flashy concept unlikely to move beyond computer-generated visuals. However, in late 2022, drones and satellite imagery told a different story. Real-world construction had officially begun. Excavators were digging a deep trench into the desert landscape. Fleets of construction equipment, staging areas, and even new worker camps started appearing across the vast NEOM site. The footage revealed that Saudi Arabia wasn't just fantasizing about the future, it was investing billions to make it real. The excavation astonishingly seemed to cover large portions of the proposed 170-kilometer path, indicating that work was being initiated at full scale, not just in isolated segments. A costly reality check in 2024. Despite early momentum, 2024 brought significant concerns. Rumors and reports began to suggest that the Line was facing financial constraints and might be downsized. And indeed, the numbers told a daunting story. Estimates to build NEOM in its entirety, the Line, 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭, a floating city, Trojena, a ski resort, and Sindalah, a Red Sea luxury island, had reached a jaw-dropping $8.8 trillion. That's more than 8 times Saudi Arabia's entire gross domestic product. At such a scale, the initial timeline for completion by 2030 quickly appeared unachievable. Reality had begun catching up with ambition, leadership changes, and strategic pivot. The financial strain was soon followed by internal changes. NEOM's longtime CEO abruptly stepped down, and 2 other senior executives were replaced. While no official reasons were given, the timing strongly suggested a major reassessment of the project's feasibility. Interestingly, the new CEO appointed was someone already deeply involved in managing the investment fund that finances NEOM. This transition symbolized a shift in priorities, from bold vision to financial discipline. Reports later emerged stating that the project was never meant to be built all at once, but in phases over decades. While that may be true, it also appeared to be a response to mounting economic pressure. The rise of the mini line. With the full-length version of the Line no longer viable by 2030, Saudi Arabia recalibrated its focus. The new plan? Build a scaled-down prototype, a 2.4-kilometer segment dubbed the Mini Line. This revised version still adheres to the original idea, but is designed to be more practical in scale, cost, and logistics. Located near a region called 𝐾𝐨 in northwestern Saudi Arabia, this first phase includes 3 modules, each measuring around 800 meters in length and 500 meters in height. Even at this reduced scale, it's still one of the most complex and daring construction efforts the world has ever seen. Stadiums in the sky and man-made marinas. The Mini Line is anything but simple. It includes some of the most imaginative elements of the original concept, like the hidden marina and the NEOM Stadium, both being integrated into the structure's vertical layout. The hidden marina, once thought to be near the Gulf of Aqaba, is actually being constructed inland and completely man-made. Excavation for the marina and its artificial waterway is well underway, and satellite images show trucks and machinery busily carving out its channels. Even more astonishing is the planned stadium, which is to be suspended 350 meters above the ground inside one of the modules. This stadium will reportedly be a venue for the 2034 FIFA World Cup, a global sporting event that Saudi Arabia will host. Engineering such a structure at that height is an architectural feat unmatched by any previous stadium design in the world. Module by module progress in 2025. Progress varies across the 3 modules. Module 45 appears to be moving ahead with foundation work well underway. Piling machines cover the site, suggesting deep groundwork is already in place. Module 46, the most advanced of the 3, is where the marina and stadium are located. Construction activity is intense, and the area is also home to what is being called the world's largest piling exercise, involving over 16,000 support piles, an astonishing number compared to the 192 piles used to build the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Module 47, meanwhile, is in earlier stages, with basic excavation just beginning. Still, its development signals ongoing commitment to the project, even if it's unfolding slowly. Massive infrastructure behind the scenes. Supporting all this vertical construction is an enormous dewatering system built to prevent groundwater from flooding the excavation trench. This system includes pumps, channels, pipes, and reservoirs stretching all the way to the Red Sea. It's so large that it can be clearly seen from satellite imagery, tracing a line from the heart of the line out to the coast. In addition, a large worker camp has been constructed just south of the main site to house the thousands of laborers and engineers working on NEOM's various components. Other NEOM projects advancing. While the line grabs the spotlight, other parts of NEOM are also quietly moving forward. In particular, 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭, the planned floating industrial port city, is beginning to take shape. Construction work around the harbor is now visible, and supporting infrastructure is steadily growing. Energy infrastructure is also expanding in the region, with wind farms and solar installations starting to dot the desert landscape. All of this is essential to NEOM's long-term goal of being powered entirely by clean, renewable energy. The big question, who will live in the line? Even if the mini line is completed by the end of the decade, a massive question still remains. Who will actually move in? The first phase is designed to accommodate around 300,000 residents, but attracting people to live in such a unique, vertical, isolated city poses major challenges. Aside from the physical structure, Saudi Arabia will have to market the city as a desirable, livable place. That includes convincing residents, both domestic and international, that the line offers more freedom, opportunity, and quality of life than traditional cities. If they can't attract enough people, the entire concept could stall, regardless of how beautiful or futuristic the buildings are. Cost estimates and the road ahead. Estimates suggest that the first phase alone could cost up to $370 billion for just 2.4 kilometers. It's an astronomical figure, especially considering that it represents only about 2% of the original city plan. This reinforces the sheer scale and complexity of the original vision and highlights the enormous resources still required to realize even a fraction of it. And yet, if Saudi Arabia can finish this segment successfully, make it livable, and attract a community to thrive there, it may lay the groundwork for building out more modules over time. The concept of building module by module could prove more sustainable and realistic for such an unprecedented development. A monumental dream, a manageable start. The line, as envisioned in 2021, is no longer the plan being executed in 2025, but the dream hasn't disappeared. It has evolved from a full-scale 170-kilometer city to a bold 2.4-kilometer prototype. The strategy has shifted to something more grounded and feasible, and even in this reduced form, the line remains one of the most ambitious and daring engineering projects of our time. Saudi Arabia is still pressing forward, albeit more carefully and strategically. If this smaller version proves successful, and if enough people choose to live in it, we may one day see the rest of the line rise from the desert. Until then, all eyes are on this miniature mega city to see whether the world's most ambitious urban experiment can actually deliver on its promise. Thanks for watching. If you found this deep dive into the line as fascinating as we did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more updates on mega projects, futuristic cities, and groundbreaking engineering from around the world.